Welcome to Extraordinary League, an actual play RPG podcast brought to you by Smash Fiction. I'm Dan Mulkerin, your game master. We have a special episode for you tonight. Liz Logan, player of everyone's favorite demon man-child Dante, is unable to join us this month, so rather than do a regular episode without her, we decided to do this special flashback episode focusing on Sombra and one of her earlier adventures in Nexus City before the arrival of Team Ohana. We hope to be back to our regular League group next month. In the meantime, enjoy the side story. There are thousands of buildings which make up the dazzling, kaleidoscopic skyline of Nexus City. For any one of these buildings to be noteworthy, it must be very special indeed. If you were to ask any random citizen of Nexus City to begin to name the most significant buildings in the skyline, Morningstar Tower would probably not be the first one they named, but it would certainly be in the first 5. This gigantic edifice of gray stone, dark metal, and red glass, tiered in a way which hints at Art Deco while still defiantly cutting its own unique silhouette, proudly declares both the power and the taste of its inhabitants. It is an open secret that Morningstar is a criminal enterprise responsible for arms dealing, sex trafficking, and drug distribution, as well as for acts of violence throughout the city. But this fact does nothing to detract from the splendor and elegance of the gala events held within the building's walls. One such event is being held now. The glitterati of Nexus City are in full attendance, dressed in impeccably tailored suits, designer dresses, sparkling jewelry, and the soon-to-be latest fragrances. Champagne is sipped, hors d'oeuvres are circulated, and a string quartet plays just loudly enough to be heard without interfering with the many conversations between the city's upper crust. Despite the formality and propriety of the event, there is an undercurrent of anxious excitement, for the ultra-rich have come to Morningstar Tower for a reason. Morningstar's leader, Philippe Laurent, is holding an auction. At the top of a set of wide marble stairs arcing down to the main floor below, a tuxedo-clad man steps forward, looking down at a stack of 4 personal cards which have just been handed to him, and clears his throat, preparing to announce 4 of the newest arrivals to the party, although little does he know that these guests have traveled very far indeed to get to Morningstar Tower. Playing Elijah Snow is Miles Schneiderman.
Alright, so, when the lights over the ring go down, and, Foreigner's Cold as Ice starts to play.
you might have to re-listen to my narration, bud.
Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
We're not wrestling.
That is the best song.
It is pretty good.
I mean, he is wearing a very nice white suit. He has white hair, and he's a white dude. Any
special thing you do as you enter the room?
No.
Okay, great. Once again, Miles staunchly refuses to roleplay with me. All right, we're moving on.
I am roleplaying. Have you read Planetary?
Playing Titania is Megan Bob.
So Titania just swans past everyone. She's wearing a gown that looks like white hoarfrost all over her body. She has these poisonous and non-poisonous flowers braided into her hair, and they flutter as she walks past. And her jewelry looks like it's made from dried beetles, maybe preserved moths, but they seem to be moving when they shouldn't be moving. And she just crosses the room, grabs a drink from her waitress, who full body leans towards her, and she's drawn in by that petals and moonlight smell, until the waitress notices that Titania's eyes have no pupils and don't reflect any of the light in the room. And the waitress recoils, and Titania just grabs a second drink off the tray while she still has the chance and moves off to go find somebody else who'll be more fun.
Yeah, that lady was about to get eaten.
I mean, nibbled.
Playing Amethyst is Colin Mulkerin.
So Amethyst kind of stumbles into the room sideways, and then pulls herself up. She's wearing an outfit that she's not super into right now. She has an absurdly fancy dress that has like a bunch of bows and stuff on it. Heels that are much higher than anything she's ever worn before in her life. Her hair is in like a ridiculous sort of Marie Antoinette updo, and it also has a hat on top of it, like a sort of wide-brimmed sun hat. And of course, she also has a parasol over one shoulder and a monocle. Yes. She went to some clothes shops and was trying to pick out a fancy outfit.
Just picked up a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Checks out.
So the butler, or what is that what he is? This guy?
He's a herald, I guess.
Harold?
Yeah, he's
sure.
a little bit high class to be a butler, I feel like.
Yeah, I'll say his name is Harold Butler.
So yes, he introduces her as the Right Honorable Duchess Amelia Rubenesque.
That's very good. And finally, playing Sombra is Kit Mulkerin.
This Latina woman walks in confidently wearing an asymmetrical sleeveless black dress with her characteristic high collar, long boots, and the heels appear to be made out of a glow, like a neon pink energy. She has those little Lady Gaga-esque half gloves that are also fingerless, so they're really just covering like a third of her hand. And she's wearing bangles on her upper left bicep as well as her right forearm. They're also that neon pinkish, raspberryish, purplish color. And her hair is styled in her usual half-shaven... I don't know, what is that hairdo called? Anyway.
Yeah.
A young people's haircut.
I hope you're not waiting for me to respond. I'm the wrong person to ask.
I believe I've heard it referred to as an undercut.
Oh, yes,
Like,
that is what
I
it's
mean,
called.
it's like half not there.
It's like a droopy mohawk.
A droopy mohawk.
Wow.
Perfect. But yes,
I believe that is the official
Yep.
name.
the hair is black and gradients into bright pink as well.
All right.
She walks in, spots the pastries, and walks promptly over there. Pasteles.
This being Nexus City, of course, there is a mix of strange creatures from all sorts of different worlds at this party. However, the four of you represent a particular concentration of unusual-looking individuals between the Snow White-skinned Elijah Snow, the obvious fairy queen elf Titania, the short and purple-skinned Amethyst, and the flamboyantly fashionable Sombra. You guys have definitely drawn some eyes, and you can see some polite whispering going on behind hands and into champagne glasses. As the four of you try to look natural in your finery, the lights in the room shift slightly, and the string quartet's song shifts into something lively. The assembled guests turn and applaud lightly as the host of the party himself appears on a balcony overlooking the room. He's a tall man who's aged very gracefully into his 60s. His slicked back hair has gone perfectly silver. He's dressed in a charcoal-colored suit with a red vest and tie. There are two particularly striking aspects of his wardrobe. One is the black eye patch he wears over his left eye. The other is what is perhaps a long red scarf, which he wears across his shoulders, and the two halves fall parallel down his chest. The overall impression is less of a scarf and more of a stole, so it gives him the air of a priest or a holy man. He's flanked on either side by two young, attractive women with black hair dressed in black turtleneck sweaters and black pants. They aren't twins, but they could be sisters. This is, of course, Philippe Laurent, and he smiles graciously at the crowd's greeting and holds up his hands ever so slightly, which causes the applause to die away. "Thank you all for coming here tonight," he says. "So often my business requires me to get my hands dirty. It is always a relief and a blessing to be here with those of us who have risen above the grime of the everyday, who remember that advantages are not to be given out, but taken by those with the wit and the power to seize them, who remember that the best things in life are ungodly expensive." And this draws some laughter from the crowd. "Speaking of which, I know why you are all here. You have heard of the collection of wondrous items which my organization and I have managed to pull together, and will be auctioning off later tonight. I can assure you, even the least of these objects represents the pinnacle of rarity and prestige, and anyone who takes one of these objects home tonight can count themselves most fortunate indeed. But that is to come later. For now, enjoy yourselves, courtesy of Morningstar." And as the string quartet strikes up again, we flash back to perhaps a few days ago, when Elijah Snow gathered together this particular group of heroes and told them about their mission. Miles, would you like to set the scene for us, please?
All right, so the scene is a small room in one of the taller towers of Castle Grayskull. I know that in the cartoon you can only see two of them and they look roughly the same size, but trust me, there are others. You just can't see
towers
them.
all over the damn place.
You just can't see them in that low resolution and that poor video quality. In this tower is an office, which looks very strangely like an office, despite the fact that it's in a medieval castle, because Elijah Snow likes his shit clean and modern, usually. So he is going over some paperwork in a nondescript manila envelope, specifically going through a number of headshots, one of which is Philippe Laurent, each of his two lieutenants, and then the three people he is about to ask to go on this mission with him. Sombra, bring them in.
Can't they walk in themselves?
Tell them to come in.
She has her legs propped up on the table, like beep booping her little air keyboard.
The whole point of this was to establish... Would you just tell them to come in, please?
She beep boops and opens up a little pink holographic audio receiver And
In my day, we used to go to the door. I don't know what's happening with all this technology.
she speaks into the hologram. Mr. Eli will see you now. Is that what you wanted?
So the door opens. I imagine
Yeah.
Amethyst and Titania walk in.
Amethyst is gonna kick it in and be like, oh, you're that. Oh, she's gonna run up to the desk and look at Eli and says, I've been seeing you around the castle, but I've never they don't let me up into this tower ordinarily, so I've never got to see you up close. What are you? You're like marbles or something, right? Or like moonstone?
And Titania's just gonna go sit right on Eli's desk.
I love how everyone is calling you Eli now, by the way.
I know. I'm not.
Oh, we
Yes,
have a
I'll translate.
history.
It's fully
For-
gone.
It would be weird now to call him Mr. Snow.
Nah, Titania, good to see you.
Is it?
Go over at Sombra. This one is still a joke, right? When you handed me this file.
No.
There's a faint crackle of thunder in the distance.
Amethyst is going to go over and start pulling up his shirt from behind and say, so where's your gem? Is it like on your back or something?
Okay, that is enough. Do you people have no respect for your elders or a sense of decorum or anything? Anyway, just have a seat.
Don't mind if I do. And go run over and start eating one of the chairs.
I look over at Sombra. Now, I know that if I ask the question, what did I ever do to you, you will come up with a long and very specific list. So I'm not going to ask it, but still.
Sombra like uses her hands in like a little expanding square motion to bring up the list and begin scrolling.
Look, if you want the full explanation of the location of the place that we're going, you can get it from Doc Brown. He has all kinds of holograms and whatever else to show you the true nature of Nexus City. But suffice to say, it is called Nexus City, and we are going there. As an old friend of mine might say, the word is Morningstar. This is an organization that basically represents everything immoral. It is run by a gentleman named Philippe Loren, who I've had the misfortune to encounter before. He is, Sombra, what was the word you used? I believe it was Spanish.
Taradito.
That was it. I didn't ask her what it means. I don't want to know. It sounds too bad.
She pulls up a small hologram of his face and then kind of spins it through the air. As it spins, it becomes larger, like a large TV, and then kind of plants itself on the wall so everyone can see his face.
I wish I could tell you that we were here to sneak into that man's party and bash that face in. Unfortunately, that's not what our goal is. We are going to sneak into his party, specifically his party being held for an auction of, shall we say, unique items and artifacts. One of them, probably shouldn't actually divulge the true nature of this to you, but one of them we have reason to believe has the ability to see into the future, or at least to predict the future. We are hoping...
It's no big deal.
That's true.
So you can do that for us now, then?
I'm not very good at it. Usually I have Garnet do it, but I mean, I haven't seen them in a while, so I mean, it was always helpful when we had it, and if none of you guys can do it, I suppose we should get somebody who can, or something that can.
Anyway, we want to get our hands on this artifact. We think it could help us predict the movements of the Phyrexian forces and give us a crucial edge in the defense against their invasion. So, the four of us are going to get it. Any questions so far?
Usually they just make me punch things, so why am I coming?
Well, I know Eli said we're not going to punch this guy in the face, but I won't tell him if you do.
Amethyst gives her a thumbs up.
If the opportunity arises to punch Philippe Loren in the face, Amethyst, I want our best face puncher on the screen. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Eli, I thought we'd agreed not to work together again.
Yeah. I look over at Sombra again. Unfortunately, as it happens, you are the best that we have in certain areas of expertise required for this mission, and that's about all that needs to be discussed about that. Although, if you want to discuss more about it, that can happen later.
It will.
So here's the deal. The vault that these items are located in is located directly beneath the party that is being held for this auction in Loren's, what is it? His tower, I guess? He's throwing a party with a bunch of rich motherfuckers, and we have to go in and get what's hidden under the floor. It's hidden in a vault. It is only opened by his voice speaking a passcode that is randomly generated once again every 24 hours by computer. So, we need the voice, we need the word, and we need to get into the vault, along with an actual physical key that must be turned at the same time as the passcode is spoken.
And where's the key?
The key is in Philippe Loren's office. His office is a few stories up from the party. It requires a thumbprint and retina scan to access. obviously we're going to have enough trouble getting into the vault without worrying about more trouble getting into Philippe Loren's office to get the key. Fortunately for us, he has an outdoor garden on the patio outside his office, which is where you come in, Titania. At least that's one way that you could come in. I am, of course, as always, open to suggestions and not at all anal or strict about my leadership strategy.
Do we need all of him for this?
By no means.
Humans come apart.
They do. I've broken them apart myself.
Exactly. We have so much in common sometimes.
I know.
Oh, I'm really feeling. I like the air. This is good.
Sound bad?
She makes fake popcorn, like little holographic popcorn and much.
So, we need to engage Loren in conversation and record his voice for synthesization. Then we need to get the passcode from the computer. So, there's a security station that generates the passcodes. It's accessible off of a hallway off of the main party. There is also a ventilation system that runs above it. So, we can use that if we want to. 3 different guards are on point for that. And we might want to create a distraction in the party to draw their attention away from it, or we can just take the non-subtle route and go through them. Amethyst, that might be the route we want to take with you.
Okay, good. I thought for a second you were having me because you thought you'd want me to try to mimic his voice or his eyes or his thumbprints, and I'm not that good, so.
Wait, you can do that?
No, I can't. That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
No, Ciruelita is for punching.
Okay, that's what your briefing said. I just wanted to make sure. So yeah, Amethyst, if possible, I'd like your strength of force to be a last resort, but if things go south in a hurry, I'm okay with it being a first or second resort as well.
Gotcha, Chief.
In terms of the distraction, maybe Amethyst, you could help with that as well.
Is he not open to persuasion?
Loren?
I can be very persuasive.
See, I knew what I was doing picking her.
Yeah, no, you definitely did, in more ways than one.
Sombra leans over to Amethyst. I ship them.
Amethyst nods. And tries to eat some of your holographic popcorn.
Lo siento.
The scene switches back now to the party, and the 4 of you are still standing there in your formal attire. You are now looking out across the party floor, sizing up the different sort of areas of attack that you discussed a few days earlier.
We eat pasteles, we mingle.
We eat pasteles.
So good.
So, Elijah, you want to start us off?
So yeah, I will, after he does the whole thing, I will wander over to him.
Okay. I will say that at this point, he's standing over by a large ice sculpture of a particularly voluptuous woman with big angel wings coming off of her. He's finishing up a conversation with another one of the party guests as you finish your approach to him. What do you do?
I just walk up to him, Philippe.
He looks over at you. His expression changes ever so slightly. Mr. Snow, I was not aware you had been sent an invitation.
You're a long way from Steelport, aren't you?
Well, I like to travel when I can, and the opportunities here in Nexus City are so much greater, so much more I can influence. But what brings you here?
Same as anyone, I'm here to bid.
Are you? I was not aware you were so moneyed.
You've heard of the Planetary organization?
I have heard some rumblings of it, yes. I thought that your funds were better spent elsewhere, like telling other people how to live their lives.
Well, I mean, at least we're focused on saving lives and not on whatever it is you do.
His eye is beginning to sort of wander around the room. You can't really tell if he's looking for security guards or if he's just looking for a convenient way out of this conversation, but you'll have to do something to kind of get his attention.
All right.
Kiss him. Kiss him. That's what they always do in movies, right?
I ship them.
I hear you've got some very fancy objects here. Very beautiful. Possibly a little bit above your pay grade, but some beautiful things, from what I'm told.
When you say the pay grade thing, his gaze suddenly, stops wandering and he just looks at you again. His body language is totally chill and relaxed, but you can see there's a slight redness creeping up his neck.
Of course, you know, Philippe, that when you get your hands on something beautiful, you have to be very careful, because you never know when there's something dangerous and disturbing inside. And I put my hand on the ice sculpture, and the angel briefly, becomes a twisted and grotesque demon.
Amethyst's eyes go wide when she sees the demon. She's like, yeah!
It's done in a way that makes it kind of look like the demon is emerging from the inside.
Ooh, nice. At this point, Laurent leans forward, and he's inches from your face at this point. Listen here, you do-gooder. I don't care what sort of power you think you have. If you decide to cross my path here, it will be the last mistake. And at this point, you hear this other voice come from off to the side. Pardon me, I don't mean to intrude. I hope I'm not interrupting. Philippe instantly recomposes himself, stands up straight again, turns and glances over at the newcomer and says, "Ah, Mr. Snow, have you met Mr. Luthor yet?"
No, I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
Sometimes they say, if a bomb hit this party, think of all the great people that would be lost.
Think of all the douchebags that would be lost. Yeah, there's a tall, bald man wearing a perfect suit who steps up to you. He's holding a glass of champagne in his hand, but it looks as though he hasn't touched it. He extends his hand first to Philippe and thanks him for the party, and then extends a hand toward you and says, "Lex Luthor."
I shake his hand. Mr. Luthor, of course I know you by reputation. I've made several trips through Metropolis in my day.
He nods and says, "Indeed, Metropolis is quite a ways off nowadays, from what I understand. It seems that we've both traveled quite a ways to come here. That's quite a grip you have, Mr. Snow. Although, I do believe you may be coming down with some sort of hypothermia."
Don't worry about me, I don't really feel the cold, Mr. Luthor.
At this point, Philippe says, "Well, I am sure you have much to discuss. It was a singular experience, as always, Mr. Snow." At this point, Somber, your computer pings. Snow has collected enough of a voice sample from Laurent that you can reconstruct it into whatever the password is.
I know I kept you around for something.
At least one of us can do accents well in this house.
I have an observation about the accent, but I'm not going to make it until the end of the episode because otherwise you're not going to be able to keep a straight face when you do it.
Sound like a clown when I'm doing it. Is that what you're suggesting?
No, it's lovely.
No, I'll tell you at the end of the episode.
Right.
I still love your Dothraki, Dan.
Okay, good. That was my crowning jewel for sure.
I mean, Skeletor's my favorite, but whatever.
Titania, what are you doing?
I will excuse myself to, I'm sure there's art on the walls and a bathroom somewhere, so I will go do that.
As you are making your way through the party, you are followed at varying distances by a gaggle of overwhelmed, spellbound guests of every gender and every species.
Well, I'm just gonna let them follow for now.
You do manage to find a ladies' room and step inside and lock the door behind you.
At this point, Amethyst says, "I didn't think fairies pooped."
You are inside this well-appointed ladies' room. There is an exterior window, but it doesn't look like it's supposed to open. It is large enough that you could fit through it.
I am going to touch a finger to it and have ice go out from my fingertip and just shatter it.
Hey, that's my thing.
Well, I know,
The
but...
man has one thing.
Fine, I'll have a gale force wind blow it
She
out.
knows all about my one thing.
I know all
He's got
the
one
things.
trick.
I mean, so yes, fine. A very minor gale force wind will just blow it out.
With a gesture of your hand, anything that isn't bolted down in this restroom is suddenly flung out the now open window.
Dan, would that set off the alarm?
There is no alarm at the moment. The exterior windows don't appear to be alarmed.
Amethyst coughs loudly to cover the sound of the window opening.
Like, Amethyst hears the sound of the window breaking and just starts going around breaking other windows.
Knocks a vase off a shelf.
Yep.
Now it's a party.
The window is now open. You can hear the sounds of the street drifting up from below, from far below, and you now have a more or less direct route up to the roof above, assuming that you can somehow close that distance.
There must be birds around. Are there any crows? Anything? Any owls?
As we established in a previous League adventure, there are small flying lizards that
small flying
inhabit
lizards.
that inhabit
about
Nexus
those.
City. So there's some of them that have made a nest nearby.
No.
That's wonderful. I'm sure I'm the kind of person who probably has weird things to eat on my person because I'm used to dealing with feeding weird little woodland creatures. I'm sure I have
You know,
mealworms
Megan Bob,
somewhere.
a lot of your plans are very, like, small snack-centric, which I think is interesting.
That's
like
how
a
you make
mom.
friends, Dan.
You just
Fine.
carry trail mix.
The mightiest power of all, the fanny pack.
How dare you say that about Titania? A fanny pack?
It's
That's
like
what
a
I have
super
fairy
bedazzled
companions for.
Sorry,
They
a
carry
fairy
the trail
pack.
mix. So I'm going to charm them to help me get up there. I don't think Titania is terribly heavy.
Yeah, give me an animal communication roll.
Oh no. Apparently I don't speak this language. No, I got a white.
Okay. The little lizard birds look up at you, put out by you blowing up this window and spreading some bathroom debris all in their nest. Aww. And as you're requesting that they aid you, and one of them looks up at you and says, yeah, what's in it for us?
Are you suggesting I can bribe them?
They're not willing to work for free, is what a failure comes down to.
Fucking lizards.
Because you're able to communicate with them, they're just like not cooperative.
How would you like to be much bigger and more able to cause chaos?
How big we talking?
How about the size of a dog?
Dogs are pretty
A dog?
big.
Yeah, but a flying dog.
You can do that for us?
I can.
All right, I guess that's not so bad.
I just need a quick lift up to the garden.
The price is right. Let's go, boys. All the other tiny pelican lizards start flapping their wings.
I have a gang.
They grab you by various points on your dress. Because you are, of course, the fairy queen, you are pretty close to just being insubstantial, so they're easily able to lift you out of the window and up the several stories before setting you down gently in the outdoor garden. You can see through the large glass windows a high-ceilinged, well-appointed office with tall bookshelves and a really nice desk and a big globe with like a dagger stuck into one spot on it. You know, it's a very supervillainy type office.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Well, just remember our deal, lady.
I always remember my deals. Before you go, do you want anything in this office? I mean, any of it's yours except for the key.
They all look through the window, and as one, their eyes sort of widen. Shiny.
You can have any of it, but I can't let you in because it has to be quiet, unless you can be extraordinarily quiet.
We're real quiet.
Okay.
Quiet as, what do you call them? The little furry ones that run on the street.
That's perfect. All right, let me just break this open really quick. I think I'm gonna let my plants... Do the plants need to go up to the office, or can the plants just break through the office?
No, I mean, the plants can break through the glass easily.
Okay, I'm gonna send tendrils out to just pop out each pane.
So tendrils shoot out from the plants in the garden and begin to make their way around the glass panes. This will succeed, but I'm going to have you roll your plant control to see if you can do it quietly.
Okay, well, that's worth karma. Oh, I didn't even need it. I got 84, so that is, yeller.
Your plants easily pop out a large enough pane of glass silently, and you are easily able to step through the new opening in the window. You are now standing in his office, and the small pelican lizards come flapping in eagerly and begin to scoop up various shiny objects on his desk. You know, a gold pen and that little Newton's cradle thing with the balls that bounce back and forth.
I mean, do you want to be bigger now so you can carry more?
One of them is currently holding his desk calendar in his talons and flapping and says, "Yeah, this thing's heavy."
Okay, so I need to roll to make them bigger?
You don't have that power.
Oh, I don't. I have magic. I can make them bigger.
I'm not seeing it on your character sheet.
Well, what does my magic do?
You don't have magic.
How does she turn people into like donkey-headedness and whatnot?
Puck does that. Titania does not.
So what is my psyche then, if not magic?
Your psyche is your willpower. You use your psyche to cast specific...
It's used for your magic.
Right, but you don't have magic. You have plant control, weather control, and animal control.
Oh, I love this.
Okay.
She falls control this. I love this.
Well,
Okay, now gust them the shit out of there.
Okay, no.
Give them a lot of food and say, eat this and you'll get bigger.
You know what? How strong is my persuasion?
You roll with psyche, and you also have the persuasion talent, so it's actually one rank higher than your psyche.
Oh, so my persuasion is unearthly. Well, I am going to persuade them that I did it.
Oh my god. All right. All right, so this is actually deception, but you also have that skill, so it's still unearthly.
Thank God they're stupid reptiles.
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll real well on this. Like, this is a green will not suffice to convince them that you have made
karma for this one.
Oh no, I'm spending karma for this, of course. Will yellow work for you?
Yellow will be fine. Your tricky fairy tongue has managed to convince the bird that he is indeed the size of a dog. But in your fairy way, you just didn't tell him what dog, and you were thinking of a chihuahua at the time. He says, "Hell yeah! And he begins to flap around eagerly in the confines of the office. And you see that he is flashing by a vase up on a pedestal. And as he does so, the vase begins to rock back and forth ominously.
I'm just gonna let it fall and then just use the wind to somehow, I don't know, you know how wind influences sound in a science way? I don't do those things. I don't understand science.
She is above those things.
You're going to have wind influence the sound in a science way.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for understanding.
Can you be more specific, perhaps?
Well, you know how, like, if there's wind happening, that sometimes, depending on where the wind is and where you are, that you hear things or you don't hear things?
It just carries the sound away.
Yeah, it carries the sound away, as it were.
Okay, that sounds bullshit enough. Let's see how it works. Roll your weather control.
That's kind of my specialty.
Sure is.
Why?
All right. So, the vase crashes to the ground very loudly.
I picture in the moments as it's falling, Titania says, wind in a science thing to hide the noise. And just like, tries to make some wind and nothing happens.
Titania, you immediately hear the sounds of voices from outside the door into the office, clearly heading for the door right now.
Sombra heard the crash through her little earpiece, and she's like, "En serio?" And then she slowly looks over to Elijah, makes eye contact with him, and is like, "We all make mistakes."
It's hard to make eye contact with Elijah when his head is in his hand the way it is right now.
Amethyst looks at Elijah and goes, "Is it distraction time? Like, what are we doing?" Like,
distractions a go. Sombra, be ready to move.
Sombra goes invisible.
Amethyst is gonna try to find like a big, strong-looking dude who she wants to fight. She's probably like been scoping out the party since she came in. Someone who's also holding a drink.
You see from across the room, there's a guy wearing a tuxedo. He has a giant, like, walrus mustache, and he's bald. He's built like a tree, basically, like just a bunch of large cylinders for a torso and limbs. And he's currently holding a tiny pink drink.
Amethyst is gonna walk by him and casually like bump into him and try to get him to spill his drink on her.
Okay.
Is that agility or?
I think that's fighting. Yeah, I think you're trying to you're doing fighting right now, because fighting includes picking a fight, I guess.
Oh, got a mighty 3.
Nice.
Oh no.
All right, so you kind of like do the rolling up your sleeves motion. I don't know if your dress has any sleeves, but you do it nonetheless.
I imagine it's got like on the shoulder big poofy sleeves.
There you go. But as you're walking over to him, you're not really used to walking in these heels, and you just sort of end up stumbling and falling in front of him. He actually takes a knee in front of you and just says, "Miss, are you all right? That was quite a spill you took."
I'm gonna slap his hand away and say, "I don't need your help."
Well, all right. I didn't mean to offend. I of course, you're fully capable of getting to your feet on your own.
Yeah, I am. And you know what? What if you did offend? And I'm gonna shove him in the chest.
Oh, well, I'm terribly sorry.
Oh, not yet. You're not. You're gonna be. So I'm gonna like raise up a fist and like I'm gonna get ready to punch him.
Okay. Yeah, make a fighting check.
So basically, because of Titania's little accident, Amethyst is initiating her distraction early, so now Sombra's like, fuck!
Yeah.
Damn it! Just to get into place and everything as fast as possible.
Yeah. I got a yellow.
You dive at this guy, and the two of you become one of those cartoon fight clouds with just, like, fists and feet flying out, moving slowly through the party, causing chaos in its wake.
Amethyst, from her time as a professional wrestler, is actually fairly good at not hurting someone in a fight, but selling it.
Sure.
Oh, perfect.
So she's kind of, like, pushing him around and, like, throwing him in sort of theatrical motions without really trying to hurt him too much.
Right. You get a metal folding chair from somewhere, despite the fact that there was probably not one anywhere close to the building. This guy just thinks you're terrible at fighting and like kind of weak, really trying to smooth things over, but you just keep like sort of knocking him over weakly, and he's just really confused and kind of upset.
While Sombra is like running through this hall, I keep making Tom Cruise running motions.
Yeah,
so nobody
you
can
sure
see
do.
Me.
Is this like attracting a crowd?
Yeah, Amethyst is selling this really well. People aren't gathering necessarily because they don't want to get caught up in it. Every eye in the room is on this fight right now. We cut to Sombra, still invisible, on her elbows, making her way through the ventilation shaft. You peer through the grate that overlooks the security room, and you can see that indeed the 3 guards in this room have their eyes glued to the security monitors, and they're sort of like speaking into walkie-talkies, trying to mobilize some security to go down and deal with this. At the the moment, their attention is not on the computer that holds all of the passwords.
Now, Sombra's hacking can be done from a distance.
Correct. You can do it remotely.
Okay, perfect. Initiating the hack.
So give
Beep,
me
boop,
some,
beep, boop.
give me some reason plus technology.
It's a green.
You get into the system. The guy had already put his credentials in, so you're just piggybacking on his. The problem is you're having trouble finding the actual password database. You're on the right track, it's just going to take you a little while. In the meantime, Amethyst, you haven't gotten the word back from Sombra that everything is okay. There's a couple of well-dressed guards that are coming up to you. They're wearing black suits with red vests and red ties, and they're all wearing sunglasses. They just sort of come up relatively discreetly behind you and say, I think you've probably had about enough to drink tonight, miss. Why don't we take a walk?
Actually, I haven't, because I'm gonna drink. And she turns her mouth into fangs and says, "Your blood."
Oh my god.
Amethyst, make a psyche check. No, make a shape-shifting check.
Yellow.
Everyone in the party sees this happen. Sombra, you can see that the guys in the control room jump out of their seats and actually leave the room. You can hack to your heart's content in this particular computer, and you're easily able to find the password. In fact, while you're on this computer and just sort of looking through, you're also finding the names and personal info on several different crime lords associated with Morningstar, including one that seems interesting. His name is John Marconi, and he apparently has a really nice penthouse apartment in Nexus City that you file away for later. Back to Titania, you're still inside the office, and you can hear the guards outside beginning to unlock the door, when all of a sudden you hear a squawk from the walkie-talkie that they're carrying. The person on the other end sounds absolutely panicked and is calling for everyone to get down to the party floor right away. The guards seem to hesitate, so you have a moment to do something if you want to either try to cover your tracks or just like get out of the room or intercept them or knock them out. You know, however you want to deal with this, you have a couple of moments to do so.
They can't see me though, can they?
No, you're inside the office. They're on the other side of the door.
If I let them go, they're gonna make life hard for Amethyst and for Elijah, aren't they?
It's possible.
I have a +2 column shift in attractive, don't I?
You sure do.
So Titania is going to artfully rip part of her dress. So she has more skin showing, some off-the-shoulderness, like thigh slit, the whole thing. And then fling open the door and then say, "Thank God you're here. I've been trying to get your attention. I was stuck up here. I was having... It doesn't matter why I was here. I just need your help."
Titania, roll your psyche plus your attractiveness, which I believe puts you at Shift X.
It does put me at Shift X.
Jesus.
Oh, I'm well into the yellow.
So you fling open the door. You find that the guards that were about to enter were actually those two women in black turtlenecks that Laurent was standing with before.
Delicious.
And they get a look on their face when they see you that says, "I didn't realize I felt this way about other women. And yet, I may have to rethink some things. Maybe later." They instantly buy your complete bullshit story. Of course, ma'am, come with us. It's very easy to get lost in these halls. We can certainly help you out with whatever you may need help with. Of course, anything at all. Anything at all. We are at your service.
I will keep that in mind. I am going to send all 4 of my fairies to go grab that key.
As you distract the two guards away from the office, which is still filled with a bunch of squawking lizard pelicans. Your 4 fairies, each the size of a hummingbird, with aspects of androgynous humans and insects and flowers, all fly into the room, quickly locate the key in Laurent's desk, and fly it back to you invisibly.
And I'm holding both of these beautiful women's hands.
You now have the key, and you have the voice sample, which Sombra is able to use to graft onto the password, which she recovered from the computer. So you guys have everything you need. The only issue is that Amethyst is currently surrounded by about 20 guards who are trying their best to remove her from the party without actually physically hurting her in front of the other guests.
Sombra says into her comm, now that she's out of that ventilation shaft and kind of walking through the hall calmly, just let them kick you out. It's not like they can keep you out.
But I wanted to steal that guy's sunglasses.
We've gotten this far. Let's not screw it up now.
Yeah. Copy that.
Fine. I'm gonna start like shapeshift melting, and I'm going to say, "Wait, what was in those hors d'oeuvres?" I'm gonna try to like Alex Mack out of there. It might not be the best idea, but it's what I.
Oh wow, that was a great.
That's a
reference.
good pull. Make another shape-shifting check to see how it goes.
Was it cranberries? Please, someone needs to tell me if it was cranberries.
I need my shots.
I'll spend some karma. I don't know how much karma I have actually. I only have 22 karma. I don't even think I can get it to a yellow if I spend all of it. Let me see. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna spend 10 and it's gonna be a green.
Okay.
And I'm gonna have 12 left.
A green is sufficient. You are able to find a suitable crack in the floor and bubble your way down it. As the horrified guards and even more horrified guests look on. This was not at all what they anticipated from this this nice party tonight.
Apparently my clothing was also allergic to cranberries because it melted with me.
Alright, so while this all has been happening, I have been making my way down to the floor below. I've instructed Sombra and Titania to meet me there.
So the elevator which leads up to the party floor is actually designed to, if you don't have the right key, when you go in the elevator, it just takes you down to the lobby. So you guys are going to have to find a way aside from the...
No stairs?
There are stairs, but the door that leads to that floor is locked.
So the key to the elevator, is that the one Titania has?
No, she has the physical key into the vault. You guys would need a card key
Right.
to use the elevator.
Can that be hacked?
It sure can be.
Oh, okay, easy peasy.
Are we all meeting up in front of the elevator then?
I imagine you guys were meeting up in front of the vault, because Amethyst, you're basically there already.
Right, yeah.
You're basically there. I'm gonna freeze the lock on the stair door while everybody's watching you and kick it apart.
The four of you meet up on the floor below the party.
Yes, Sombra just materializes
Yeah.
out of thin air. Been here all
Oh,
along.
Titania was brought by her beautiful lady friend.
Yeah, Titania, you might be looking slightly more disheveled depending on how much
Oh,
time
jeez.
you took between the office and here.
The elevator got stuck.
Every goddamn mission.
Don't be jealous.
I would like to point out, Dan, if we have a camera cutting back to the party that I had left, the comm that was in my ear is sitting on the floor now.
Interesting. You can get 15 karma for that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say that there's like an extreme close-up of the communicator lying on the floor. The camera just picks up a pair of black dress shoes
no.
that step up to it, and you see a couple of fingers reach down and pick it up.
Oh no! Dun dun dun.
Colin, you can get 20 karma for that.
Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Because I'm really enjoying what I get to do now. So you're all standing on the floor below, which in comparison to the extravagance of the party floor up above is very Spartan and just sort of looks like, something you might see in an office or just a standard building. And the metal door into the vault is designed to be large and impressive looking, done in the Morningstar's neo-art deco style with some trademark red flourishes.
There are gonna be guys down here, take them out quickly, and then move quickly.
There are indeed guards posted. There's 3 different men wearing black and red suits that are carrying assault rifles. There's 2 different women who are wearing red corsets and boots with black stockings and a black trench coat. They're carrying 2 submachine guns. And then there's one bald guy in a red trench coat with red sunglasses, and he's carrying a sniper rifle. Now, this isn't going to be a normal fight. Essentially, you guys can just make ability or power checks, and I'll just sort of use that as a way of determining how the fight goes. It's just sort of like a broad strokes encounter.
Can I start off with my EMP?
You certainly may.
Sombra's gonna say to the people next to her, is like, be right back, and then phases out. Tom Cruise runs invisibly over to that group. Apagando las luces! And then activates her EMP. She phases out of being invisible. Her hands are glowing with this pink kind of tech energy. She temporarily lifts into the air, and as her arms spread out, this EMP spreads over she's like, oh gosh, I don't know how wide of an area it spreads. So basically everyone's probably hit by it.
Just like off in waves down the hallway.
Yeah, and then their guns are just like crackling, like all hacked.
Yeah, the guards immediately jump when they see you, but to their credit, they react quickly and they raise up their guns. However, their guns don't seem to be working, which is weird that you hack guns, but there we are.
Everything can be hacked.
That's right.
And everyone.
Who would like to go next?
I mean, I really want to freeze someone. And then punch them in the face. I imagine one of the 3 hand-to-hand goons, right? I mean, aren't they?
No, they're carrying assault rifles. All of these people are carrying guns.
Oh, well then, you know what? I'll take sniper rifle
Okay.
boy.
Cool. Do you want me to clear out some of the people in front first so you can get to him, if I imagine he's in the back?
Go for it.
Cool. So I think Amethyst is going to do a thing that she's done a couple times before. She's going to pull out 2 whips, and so she has one in each hand. And then she's going to roll up into a ball and start spinning and wrap her whips around herself so she actually gets covered in like spikes. And then she takes off. It sort of looks like when Sonic rolls up into a little ball and then like shoots off at somebody. So she's going to do that, and basically like a charge attack where you basically just like run at somebody full speed and just slam into them.
Yeah.
So.
Who are you targeting?
It's kind of like a running thing. I would try to hit basically as many of those frontline guys as I can.
Gotcha.
Get away with.
Yeah. So give me an endurance check.
It's a green.
Yeah, you manage to charge in, sort of carving up the hallway as you go, and 2 of the guys step forward and try to unload at you, but again, their guns are not working. And so you bowl into them with basically 0 effort or energy, and they both go flying.
So I'm just gonna go with intimidation and terrify them into leaving this fight and, living to see another day.
Yeah, so you're rolling on your psyche plus your intimidation.
Oh, yeah. I got a red.
So I'm gonna say that the remaining dude with an assault rifle and the 2 ladies, they see you step forward as you sort of like assume the full might of your mantle as the fairy queen, and it's some eldritch horror stuff. Like they are looking, it's like looking at a tornado coming at them. And they just decide they are not getting paid nearly enough to deal with this, and they take off running down the hall. That just leaves the sniper guy, and Elijah Snow, I do believe you said something about wanting to hit this particular gentleman.
Well, first, we have to freeze him. We'll spend karma onto Phyrexia. Oh, well, okay then. So I didn't need karma to get that to red, so it's definitely a red.
All right then. Yep, with a gesture of your hand, this guy is instantly a popsicle, head to toe frozen in an eye blink.
And then punch face.
All right, his face is gone, and he falls over.
Oh.
Ugh.
Titania's reminded a little bit of why they were a thing now.
I think I was gonna say,
sploosh?
I've never seen someone shatter a human before.
So in about 6 seconds, you guys have cleared out all of the guards in front of the door.
Mess with the best and die like the rest.
That's right. The door itself is very large and impressive, and you can see the keyhole for the physical key, as well as the little interface next to it, where Laurent is supposed to speak the day's password.
All right, Sombra, Titania, key and password, please.
Can I try one time, or will that make the alarm happen? I just want to see.
Let's wait.
I was listening to his voice, and I feel like I got it. It was sort of like a French Triumph the Insult comic dog.
Oh my god.
That is accurate.
Sombra's gonna hold out her hand to the queen over there for the
Oh yeah,
card.
I hand over the key, obviously.
She takes it, and then she begins to work her little magic.
What's the code, incidentally?
The code is hubris. Your computer generates a soundbite of Laurent saying hubris, and it plays while you simultaneously turn the key. The vault door swings open noiselessly on well-oiled hinges. The area within features several individually lit clear display cases containing the various treasures that Morningstar's guests will be bidding on tonight. From left to right, the cases contain a large syringe filled with a glowing liquid.
Oh.
There's a heavy-looking futuristic pistol. There's a single gold coin marked with a skull. There's an actual living rabbit with brown fur.
What is the rabbit in?
It's in a case.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's in a case?
Yeah, it's in a clear case.
Oh.
Does it have food and a little water thing?
Yeah, there's a little food bowl, a little water dish, and there's holes poked in the top.
Okay.
There's a large triangular mirror. There's a heavy, complex-looking metal backpack with what looks like a hose attachment coming off of the side. And then in the back is a hulking full-body suit of power armor, which is kind of in shadow.
No.
Nice.
What do you guys do?
I'm assuming we're here for the mirror.
You actually don't know which of these objects tells the future.
It's the rabbit.
Amethyst is definitely freeing the rabbit. She will not have this thing being in captivity.
All right, so Amethyst, you stride boldly up to the rabbit. As you're reaching out for it, the rabbit looks up at you, and with its nose and ears twitching slightly, you hear it mutter, "Oh, not again, what now?"
Hey, little guy, what's going on?
It looks up at you, and you've never seen a rabbit look surprised before, but this rabbit looks surprised. Do you speak Lapine?
I guess. Why?
I haven't met any of the big ones in this world that speak Lapine. Please, you have to get me out of here. I'm being held quite against my will, and it is very uncomfortable.
Oh, sure, man. I guess Doc? She's gonna raise up a fist.
While this is all happening, I'm quickly trying to investigate the room for any hint as to what these items
Okay.
are.
Yeah,
If
we keep
there's
doing
notes,
simultaneous
Yeah.
stuff.
If there are notes, if there are any labels, anything, what else?
Yes, there is a plaque on each of the displays.
Well, first I would like to read the fucking rabbit.
The display simply says, Rabbit, World Unknown, Strange Psychic Abilities.
I was making a joke, but yeah. So Sombra's gonna go up to the mech, or the suit, obviously. Yeah. What's the plaque say?
It just says, Power Armor, Metropolis.
She's gonna begin, hacking into it.
Okay.
So it's these bright purple lines begin running up and down it. I'm sure I can use this later.
That'll take you a little while.
I'm curious about that mirror.
As you get close to the mirror, you realize that there's actually straps on the back of it. The plaque says, Mirror Shield, World Unknown, Highly Reflective, Magical.
I really hope it's actually the mirror from Snow White that someone made into a mirror shield.
The large syringe is just labeled Plasmid, World Unknown, Strange Metamorphic Properties.
Yep, called it. Let me guess. The backpack is the Ghostbusters.
The backpack says
Proto-pack.
Proton Pack,
There you go.
and it has Earth with a long number after it. Undead extermination qualities. The heavy futuristic pistol says Lawgiver, Megacity 1, Law Enforcement.
Wow.
The gold coin just says Coin of Cortez, World Unknown, Potential Immortality.
It must be the rabbit then.
Yeah, I'm gonna punch my fist through his cage.
The rabbit hunkers down as the case shatters under your blow. You guys can hear the sound of an alarm going off from above. The sound of commotion is ever so slightly audible, even through the thick floor.
Yeah, I probably should have disabled that first.
So Amethyst is gonna scoop up the rabbit and say, "Come on, bro, let's get out of here."
It says, oh, thank you ever so much.
I'm gonna freeze the glass above the lawgiver and shatter it,
Okay.
and we'll be taking that.
Yep.
Sombra looks at you holding that big old gun, and she smiles and nods. De pelos.
At this point, you hear a voice emerge from behind all of you. A commendable effort breaking into this place. I was considering bidding on the rabbit in question at auction. If someone else beat me, I would just find out where they lived and convince them that I would be much better suited to taking care of it. Speaking of which, I suggest you hand the creature over to me. I think you'll find that all of us will be much happier for it.
Who is saying that?
Lex Luthor.
I don't know. I think it's kind of cute.
Why are you so convinced that we'll be so much happier this way?
Because you will be living still.
Uy, qué miedo.
That's very funny, Mr. Luthor.
I hate to call your bluff, but you're like one dude, and there's four of us, and we're kind of great.
Sombra rips off her dress, revealing that she was wearing like a kind of a little one piece, and then turns off her heels, because those suck.
Okay.
She's like, asústame, Panteón. And she pulls out her SMG that was strapped hidden to her left thigh and points it at him.
Luthor at this point sighs. Well, I was really hoping to avoid making a mess. That's the way of things, I suppose. Blue light suddenly glints from his eyes, and a moment later, pure magic radiates out from him and into him in pulsating azure lines of light. The smell of gasoline fills the air, and off in the distance, you all can hear the sound of machinery. Luthor is momentarily consumed by blue light and then seems to draw it into himself until he is a very different creature. Cold steel plates cover his chest, back, and shoulders. Sharp hooks protrude out from his vertebrae, and liquid metal has spread down his arms, giving them a disturbingly skeletal appearance. His face is also covered in the form-fitting liquid metal, making it look as though his head is now a steel skull. He now stands on 4 evenly spaced insectile legs. His voice is now a terrifying, metallic facsimile of a human's voice, and he says,
Tell me, have you faced a Phyrexian praetor before? I somehow doubt it.
Didn't see that coming. She looks at her friends.
what do you do?
She goes invisible.
All right, well, I'll just have to kick your butt with one bunny behind my back.
Let's roll initiative. Sombra, initiative.
10.
Titania,
I got 11.
Amethyst,
7.
Elijah Snow.
14.
Snow, you're up first.
The first thing I'm gonna do is try to freeze him.
So you stretch out your hand and immediately, suck all of the heat out of the air around him. Go ahead and make your cryokinesis roll.
Alright, I will be spending karma on that. I'll spend 20 to get that to a red.
Nice. Are you trying to freeze him or damage him?
Damage.
Yeah, you basically just pelt him with ice. You just did enough to, knock over a building, basically, and he is looking disturbingly unfazed by all of it. Titania, it is your turn.
I am going to hit him with a massive lightning strike. Something big enough for a crater.
Yeah, roll your weather control.
Okay, and I am happy to spend time on this as well. Is green enough, or should I get it to yellow? Oh, no, actually, it is a yellow. Never mind.
Get it to red if you can.
Yeah, all right. I'll spend 30 karma to get it there.
So you hit him full on with a powerful bolt of lightning that leaps from your fingertips. Once again, Lex Luthor remains standing. It is his turn. At the beginning of his turn, his eyes once again begin to pulse with a blue light.
Now then, let's see what I have to learn from you.
All of you make a psyche check.
Mine is
karma.
good. Is good good?
Good is good.
Karma.
Green.
Green.
Yellow.
I'll make it a yellow.
Amethyst and Snow. Choose one of your powers that you would like to keep.
Oh.
Well, like any of them?
Yes.
I guess my whip?
So, Amethyst, you lose your body armor, your leaping, and your shapeshifting.
I don't want to.
I'll keep the immortality.
Okay. Snow, you lose your cryokinesis and your cold immunity. Titania, choose 2 of your powers to lose.
I don't think plant control or animal control is going to help me right here.
All right, so you are keeping weather control and your fairy minions.
Oh no, he said learn from you. Did he just swipe our shit?
Sombra, choose
Swipe or no swiping?
3 of your powers to keep.
Clearly hack and stealth and translocator.
So that was the start of his turn. He then looks down at his hand.
Fuck. He just
and-
learned EMP. What have I done?
He then looks down at his hand, and you see ice begins to collect in and around it, and then he points it at Elijah Snow, who no longer has cold immunity. Elijah, you can give me an endurance check.
Okay, I'll spend karma on that. I'll put that at red with
Okay.
karma.
You're gritting your teeth and holding up your arms. Ice is forming around you, but you're trying to keep moving so that it keeps breaking. You can feel yourself starting to go into shock over cold, which is something you have literally never experienced.
This is like when Captain Hammer feels pain for the first time. Is this what cold feels like?
Like, wow, this sucks, and I've been doing this to people.
They all deserved it.
Sombra, it is your turn.
Did you say I hacked that power suit? Not power suit.
You were in the
That
process of
power
doing
armor?
so. Yeah.
Oh, so I didn't complete it, huh?
Yeah, you can try to complete it this round if you
No,
want.
I'm not going to.
Okay.
With that. Okay, so he's standing in the doorway of this room?
A few feet in from the doorway,
Okay.
but yeah.
She's gonna appear in the hallway behind him, miss me, and then she's gonna hack.
Okay, and he gets a counterattack
Does he?
because he stole some of your tech. You realize that you are downloading a Phyrexian virus into your computer.
Damn it! She's now focusing on re-upping those firewalls.
Yes. You hear Luthor laugh in a voice that sounds like metal grating on metal.
Please, don't be a child about this.
And now, Amethyst, it is your turn. I will remind you, you are holding a rabbit.
I know, and I want him to get out of here safely, but Amethyst also doesn't run away from fights. I have to, just get in there and punch his stupid face, because that's what Amethyst would do. But he also has the rabbit to worry about. Okay.
I can hold him or something.
Amethyst is going to hold out the rabbit towards Titania, and she's going to say, if things go bad, you need to run and get this thing out of here.
I will.
All right, time for what you guys hired me for. And I'm going to charge him and I'll punch him in the face.
Okay,
Actually, I'm gonna whip him. Green.
so you whip him. Again, your whip hits with enough force to crack rock, but this guy
Yeah.
is looking, he's fine. Snow, we're back up to you.
We are getting out of here, and I am retreating to the door while shooting a, let's say, high explosive round at his leg.
Retreating to the door, meaning you're running toward him.
I thought he was behind us or whatever.
He was behind us, but our back was to the vault entrance when he was behind us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, correct.
So we have no way out of here. Is there another door?
No, there's only one entrance into the vault.
Is he blocking it, or how could we go around
You
it?
could attempt to squeeze by him, yeah.
Scary.
Can Amethyst or I make a door?
Yeah, you can certainly try. This is a vault, so it's very, very sturdy. As you guys are looking around, the rabbit gets like this sort of glazed over look in its eyes for a second, and then it says, "The ceiling is designed to be retracted. It's a weak point. It's the weakest point in the vault."
I'll shoot that high explosive round at the ceiling.
Sounds good. Roll me your agility.
That is actually a red.
Nice. You say into the gun, "High explosive," and you hear like this.
High explosive.
Yeah, you hear this this whirring sound as some of the internal parts are reconfigured, and then you just.
Hey, Dan.
Yes.
Dan, specifically the ceiling over him. By
Nice.
The way.
Well, you got a red, so I think that's entirely fair. There's a momentarily deafening explosion as a huge chunk of the ceiling is blown away and pieces of it rain down on Luthor. And you guys now have a way directly out of the vault. And it is Titania's turn.
Okay.
Wind, strong wind.
I was going to say, if I had wind strong enough, could I get all of us out?
Yes.
Okay, then I will spend my karma as well. I mean, is there more stuff once we're up there? How many more problems will there be?
I don't know.
don't know.
I got 4 more Praetors I could pull on you guys.
Ah!
Keep it in mind, I am not in that room, but don't worry about it.
I got 93 with karma, so I got a red.
With a wave of Titania's hand, a gale suddenly whips through the vault and lifts all of you out.
not in there.
Except for Sombra. Luthor looks up through the hole through which the other members of the League vanished, and then he turns and looks at Sombra, who's behind him.
Well, I suppose a hostage will have to do.
And then it is his turn now. You see that a gem suddenly appears on Luthor's chest. His body suddenly, shapeshifts, and he now has 8 arms, all of which stretch and reach out towards you. He's managed to grab you by your arm and is beginning to lift you up off the ground. Ooh. His fingers are digging like knives into your skin. And it is your turn, Sombra. You are grappled.
Okay, so she's gonna pull out a translocator, throw it over her shoulder toward that power armor. Over his shoulder back into the room at that power armor, and then translocate over to it. She's gonna be like, "Te pasas de lanza," and then just disappear out of his grasp. Okay. I assume, I would love to also hack into that suit, but I think that's too many things.
You started hacking. I will say you can make the attempt at -2.
-2?
Yeah.
All right, karma.
Can I spend karma on this?
You may.
Ooh,
All right, I will.
Oh, is it because you have leadership?
Yeah, he has leadership.
So nice. Okay. Because I don't have that much karma left. Oh, shit. 106.
Damn.
That suit is mine.
Yeah, so you managed to get past the firewalls that you had to set up to prevent the Phyrexian virus from getting in. And as you hit in the last few commands, the suit of armor steps forward and into the light falling across the large S shield on its chest. Luthor looks at it and just sighs as the armor picks up a giant hammer which was lying next to it and begins to walk forward. So you guys basically have a way out at this point. What does the last few moments of this look like?
So the ceiling's gone now?
Yes.
So Sombra's gonna throw another translocator up and out. Actually, can she chuck it to one of her peeps up there?
Sure.
I'll catch it.
Okay. And she's gonna sassily wave to the Praetor. See you later. and then disappear.
All right, so Luthor is currently fighting with the steel armor. It's clear that Luthor is going to win this probably very quickly when suddenly the elevator at the end of the hall opens and 20 Morningstar guards come piling out looking for the person who broke into their vault. Several of which
they're gonna die.
Several of which are carrying rocket launchers. They begin pointing and opening fire. Luthor, taking the sledgehammer from the steel armor and the weapons fire from the Morningstar guards, just turns and sighs as blue light glints in his eyes again. Meanwhile, the League, buoyed by Titania's winds, is carried out of the Morningstar building, crashing through one of the red windows, when a split second later, the entirety of the building is lit with an intense blue light, and the building cracks apart into pieces, with the shards of it exploding outward in blue light. Sombra is pulling out her DDC, searching for an extraction point, and by the time Luthor, the blue Praetor of Phyrexia, manages to make his way out of the ruins of Morningstar Tower, the League is no longer on this plane, and he glances around at the strange geometry of Nexus City and says,
Isn't this interesting?
Extraordinary League is produced by Dan Mulkerin, with logo designed by Colin Mulkerin.
Special thanks to Kevin McLeod at Incompetech.com for our theme song, Motherload, and to TabletopAudio.com for our background music and ambient sound effects.
You can find us on Twitter at SmashFic Podcast and search for the Smash Fiction Podcast on Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube.
Subscribe on iTunes or your podcatcher of choice, and if you leave us a good review, we shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
If you have any suggestions, feedback, or other contributions, send them to us at smashfictionpodcast@gmail.com and help us continue the fight.
Blah.
You guys didn't come up with opening singers. I'm so disappointed in you.
Well,
All
Dan
of you.
told us not to do it.
And so? You have to listen to Dan for all the time we're doing this game, not beforehand.
If you listen,
Okay, fine.
if you listen to Miles's intro, you know that he listens to me up to a point, and that point is when he would rather be doing something entirely different.
I assume that was standard operating procedure, is it not?
Fine, you want an opener? Which way to the baby war? Alright. That's all I got.
Oh my god, I was drinking water when you said that, you son of a bitch. I should point out that Snow's skin is not actually white, it's white person.
Right. It's just very pale. Very pale.
Yeah, I mean, I think, Dan, the least you could do after I wrote that whole description was to listen to it, alright?
Hey, Miles.
Yeah.
One of the people in this exchange has the ability to make rocks fall and everyone die. So,
Yeah, I would describe Elijah Snow as Giga Caucasian. I think.
Oh, wow.
I am. Man, this is a tough accent for me to do.
Yeah, it's like almost
Belgian.
French, almost French, but not French.
Yeah,
it's tough.
I'm.
you could just do French, right?
Yeah,
Like, I
French
mean,
is not an easy accent for me to do. BT dubs.
In general, yeah.
It's not an easy accent for most people to do.
Yeah, this is a dumb character for me to decide to have in this game.
Just stop halfway through every word and just talk in like the back of your throat.
I'm trying to channel Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Start off with some warming.
Talk about baguettes for a second.
I'll be the candelabra, Dan. I'll be the
You'll be Cogsworth?
the feather dust if it helps you get into character.
Alright.
That's a little bit...
have been burned by you before. That's the only line I know about you.
Where are you
so-
from?
I'm so happy we're recording all of this.
Yeah, this is real good. This is all going in the garbage. Anyway,
Oh.
so
Well, I just wanted to take this opportunity to say that regarding this particular episode, I have to say this for my own arc narrative completion, that Titania totally invites Elijah back to her bower. Yeah,
yep,
obviously.
definitely ship it.
Awesome.
So
mean-
we're like elbows, amethyst, like called it.